Alright, this is part 4 of this roguelike mode. Oh look, they changed the title screen. That's cute. Okay, so... Capture of Hope now, or rather, Enduring Hope. And obviously that's going to be very useful. I stick it onto Langrisser, even though it means I can only equip 2 skills for now. Obviously I also changed Brenda back to Lancer because I don't really have any equipment for her cavalry class, and she's better at Lancer anyway. So. Alright, I believe I'm about to get a new character here, although that probably doesn't matter. So, okay, you can see like now the time walls are getting really convoluted, so that's actually basically 2 time walls at the same time. So it says when I hit an enemy, it will give a buff to its allies within 2 blocks that increase damage by 10%, reduce damage taken by 10%, and that can stack and cannot be dispelled. It also says that when an enemy ends their turn, they will do an AoE within 2 blocks that actually lowers my damage dealt by 30%, which can also stack. So from now on, I think the time walls are pretty much all going to look something like that. Just crazy time walls. And this is the part where I feel like the mode really starts to get a little bit irritating, because the amount of damage debuffs or damage taken buffs that the enemies have, it just makes it very difficult to do any sort of damage to them if you do not have a lot of damage dealt increase abilities equipped. So I feel like a mistake that players might make early on is to get abilities that increase your attack a lot, and if you do that, you are going to be stuck with doing very little damage to time walls like this, because obviously you will not be able to break past the damage reduction. And you have stuff like basically the wind pressure sort of time wall that's going on here. If you don't have a good way of... If you don't either have very bulky units, or... yeah, you can just see right there, all those debuffs. And if you don't have an easy way to restore HP after an AoE, these time levels can really get you. Yeah, you can see right there, Langrisser doing almost no damage. And that's because I put a lot of crit mods on Langrisser, and as far as I know, crit damage does not affect damage taken at all. Crit damage is considered a different part of the equation. So if you have 100% damage reduction, you cannot overcome that with critical damage, as far as I know. You can also see Rachel's not doing a lot of damage either. I mean, admittedly, part of it is because I probably shouldn't have bunched up my units in a way so that I would take a lot of those debuffs. So I know some of you might be thinking, well, you're getting pretty near the end now, so shouldn't it be getting harder? But to me, this isn't really a good way of making the content harder. Okay, so Shelf Anil, Lana. Still, I take Shelf Anil because I do figure like if I get enough AoE abilities, I can probably make her pretty useful. But you'll see that I probably don't get enough AoEs to make her any good. Also, I would have needed more star upgrade items to make Shelf Anil stand out more. So yeah, the way they ramped up the difficulty in these last couple of voyages is, I don't mind them making it more challenging, but it just makes it more annoying than anything. I don't think doing the difficulty this way was a good idea. Okay, this time well. So didn't want to deal with that time wall, so... Or rather, I'm just checking what the other time walls are right now. So I definitely didn't want to go to the middle one because I took one look and it said unable to guard, so I'm saying go away. I don't want to go to any stage where I'm unable to guard. So I end up coming to this bottom stage anyway. So it says anytime I kill an enemy, they will release an AoE that attacks enemies within one block and then will stun them. So if I kill stuff, it will stun me. And then after that, it also says that anytime I attack an enemy, they will gain, it looks like a buff that allows them to have an aura that reduces damage taken, or reduces damage dealt by me, and also makes me take more damage. So more damage time walls here. This one's an AoE span increase. This one's damage dealt and damage taken plus. The last one was HP, so I take the AoE one. Again, at this point I was still thinking maybe I could build Shelf and Heal. Oh boy. So the time law here says that anytime the enemy attacks me, they will deal fixed damage first before battle. It's actually pretty high, attack plus intelligence times 2, which is pretty high. Although I don't need to worry about it because I put Swordsmith Metal on Freya. They also have one that says anytime I attack an ally within 2 blocks, I will be inflicted with a debuff that reduces my unit range. So basically what that means is that anytime I attack enemies that are close to each other, I will get a debuff that essentially makes it so that I can't attack next turn. Because it says range -2, so most units are not going to be able to attack. This one only lasts 1 turn, and it cannot be dispelled. Yeah, none of these can be dispelled, which is very annoying. Okay, that's -3 cost skill. Oh, it's Indomitable. And this, I believe, is Altina's 3-cost kill. Yeah, I don't really have any use for either one of those 3-cost kills, so I take Indomitable. I consider giving Indomitable to Freya here, but right now I feel like the skill she has is pretty useful. Her being able to heal herself. So I do want to take one of the top routes here, so I can go to the store. Oof. Okay. So this time law says that if the enemies are next to each other, or rather within 2 blocks of each other, they will take 50% reduced damage. And it also says that if they have any debuffs, for every single debuff they will have all stats plus 10%, and this can stack. So this is fun. More damage reduction. Yeah, so Vampire Mask and Extreme Magic Bow. A 0 legend. I take the Extreme Magic Bow even though I don't really need it at this point. I mean, I didn't really need any of the other items there, so. Alright, a store. Ashbill Strike. Red Moon. That's an attack blessing. This is a meteor enchant as an ability. Demon Slayer. Scarlet Axe. I take the Demon Slayer here. I could have picked it up earlier, but I didn't have enough points to buy that plus something else. Attack blessing I feel like is going to be useful at some point. The rest had limited use, but I didn't want to waste any more of my shells for now. Okay, so boss encounter. So here it also is a very annoying time law. So it's one of the time laws from earlier where anytime they end their turn they'll do an AoE that reduces my damage dealt. In addition, the second part of the time law says that when they end their turn they will get a shield that reduces damage by 50%. And this cannot be dispelled, so it says it lasts 1 turn, and then why have it last 1 turn if it can't be dispelled? So basically, it just means it lasts forever. So yeah, if I get hit even 1 time by the AOE time law, that means it reduces my damage by 30%. So that means I'm doing 80% reduced damage from that unit from then on. The AOE that reduces my damage dealt, it lasts 2 turns. And it can stack, so basically I need to, anytime somebody gets AoE'd, and I need to either have enough damage so that they can push through like my Brenda can, or I need to just like get them out of the fight so that they can just stand around until the debuff goes away. So you can see the juggler talent I picked up earlier is really coming in handy here. I don't know how I would have handled this if I didn't have that. Brenda, of course, definitely being the MVP in terms of doing damage. Right, let's see what we get. No, Bloodline magic armor. That's I forgot what that's even called. And it's Soul Steeler headdress. So the counter arrow armor is always nice, I feel. It's probably better than the Twilight armor here, so especially for Freya. So I didn't want to deal with the bottom round there because it had normal attack damage +2. That's always very annoying. Of course, this time law isn't really much better. This is the one where anytime the enemy attacks me, it can stun me. And this cannot be dispelled, so I have to Sage's Hat Freya constantly, otherwise she is going to get stunned. And also, the one where when they end their turn they get a shield that reduces damage by 50%. Lasts one turn and cannot be dispelled, so it might as well just last forever. This is Ruthless Intelligence. This is attack for mages, which I don't know. I don't know if there's any. Well, I guess it could be for Yusuke if you get him. so more annoying time laws. So this is the one where if I debuff them, they get stronger. And the other one is whenever I hit an ally with one of the enemies that has allies around them, they will get a buff that reduces damage taken and increases damage dealt. Alright, Ruthless again. Intelligence again. I just take the intelligence. Yeah. Put the intelligence on Liana, because why not? Oh, okay, let's see here. This time wall. So this is the one where if I attack enemies that are close to each other, I'll get the unit range debuff, which basically makes it so I can't attack next turn. And also one that says when they end their turn within 2 blocks, they will deal 1 random debuff, which cannot be dispelled. So that's actually very annoying. Okay, Ash Gold Strike, Vegemite, and Leon 3 cost. So I take the Ash Gold Strike because really there's no real use for the other 2 for me. Okay. So anytime the enemy damages me, they have a 30% chance of disabling passive for 2 turns, which cannot be dispelled. At the end of action, recover 20% of allies' lives, so enemies will recover each other's lives over and over and over, which will probably make this fight drag out a lot. Yeah, they really like the cannot be dispelled debuffs and cannot be dispelled buffs here. It just makes it so that, you know, if you built your team to be resistant to debuffs, or you built your team to be very, you know, like dispel focused, they just completely crap on that. And that's one of the reasons I said I don't really like the way they design the more difficult stages of this mode, because essentially what they've done here is create a situation where you need to beat, where they've invalidated a lot of different ways that people might have built their teams, which I feel like goes against the spirit of the mode, as it were, where people should be allowed to build their team as they wish. But here, this sort of encourages players to build their team in very specific ways. Dark Crown, Cursed Lands, Last Rites. Take the Last Rites, of course. Last Rites is always good. Although I guess it's not as good in PvE a lot of the time, so probably wasn't. That was the PvP bar of my brain kicking and saying, "Oh, that's right, you have to have it." Alright, let's see here. So here it says anytime they attack me, they will inflict a movement down debuff before combat. So that means I need to Sage's Hat Freya every single turn. And the second part of the time law says anytime they end their turn, they will get 8% to all stats, and this will stack and cannot be dispelled. So it just gets stronger and stronger infinitely. Dark Scythe, Sprint. Alright, now for the boss fight. So it is that stupid time law where they will do an AoE at the end of their turn that reduces my damage dealt. And at the end of, and anytime I kill something, they will inflict 2 debuffs to anybody within 2 blocks, and these cannot be dispelled. So, and they last forever. So I don't want to kill anything near a bunch of people, or else I'm just going to get tons and tons of debuffs. So I don't know how the hell my Brenda died there. I must have taken a lot of damage taken plus debuffs in order to die to a cavalry like that. But that's pretty annoying now that I have to do the rest of the stage without Brenda, who is my strongest DPS. So these damage debuffs are really stacking up. I love your Tishton as well, with his AoE. You can see I'm doing almost no damage at this point. Probably could have restarted the map, but that would be like giving up at this point. So it's nice that I have 20 turns to get rid of this guy. Although I'm really hoping it doesn't take that many. Alright, let's start up item. That is Chris's 3 cost, Leden's 3 cost, and Wind God Realm, that's 3 cost. I don't like Leden's 3 cost very much in PvE. Although I maybe should have taken it just because for... actually, it wouldn't be any good for Freya because she is an intelligence character, so... Yeah, I take the Chris 3C. Which of course is a perfectly fine spell to put on any mage. So the time law here says that the enemies have increased stats all around, although they take extra fixed damage. It also says that anytime they attack me, I will get a stacking debuff that makes me take more damage, 50% each time, which means Freya probably should not take more than 1 or 2 hits at a time. The stacking damage taken debuff will definitely make it so that Freya can't take anything. If I'm dumb enough to take multiple hits in a row, so obviously I have to position her to avoid that. Crits. This one's crit damage. This one's full moon. So I take full moon. I mean, even though damage to plus percent is very important in these later levels, obviously having high attack is still useful. But for now, I put the full moon on Diana, just for some extra intelligence. Alright, time law here. That's the one where the enemy gets a shield that reduces damage by 50%. And after they die, they will deal 2 debuffs to enemies within 2 blocks, and they cannot be dispelled, so more damage reduction, more debuffs that you can't dispel. Let's see what we get. Alright, it's Tranquility and really nice. Chivalry, and this is Altina's 3 cost. So I take Altina's 3 cost mostly because there's really nothing else to take. So our upgrade store. Getting near the end here, so I need to pick my upgrades wisely. So I realize here that I'm pretty much done with my equipment upgrades, so I can focus on other things. I take a lot of my characters up to 7 cost, so that I can equip a 3 cost skill plus 2 cost skills. So just upgrading a lot of these. This is Rough Sea, upgrading it. Breeze, upgrading it. Crystal, yes, upgrade. This one's just, since I'm done, more or less done with upgrades on a lot of my characters, I can start upgrading things that I might see as useful for other characters. That one's the AoE one. There's I upgrade the Miracle Staff as well. So now that Lanford has 7 costs, I can give him a second attack skill, because I don't think, obviously Sprint is not kind of pointless if you already have Enduring Hope, and Chivalry would override the attack buff, and I didn't want to do that. Funny thing is that Aurora Ring, I could have put Aurora Ring on pretty much anybody. That's one way you could put a heal onto any tank. That, Aurora Ring does not rely on intelligence, it just restores 50% of your life, so definitely something worth considering. So the next stage, again, a store on the top route, so I want to take one of the top 2 routes. The middle stage has a unable to guard time wall, so screw that. Let's look at the time wall here. So it's another one where when they hit their turn, I get debuffs, and they also restore each other's life at the end of their turn. What this means is that this is actually a stage without a damage reduction law for once, unless the random debuff ends up being a damage debuff. Only ring, Bloody Melody, Divine Boots. Holy Ring. Alright, let's see what's in this door. This one's called Trump Card. Life, defense, critical damage, demon liver skin, assault helm. Yeah. And there's the witch hat. Yeah. Generally speaking, the story is pretty disappointing. So I check real quick here if I can equip 2 of the same one. Unfortunately, you cannot, so you can't give Shelfenil like a 10 span AoE or something. That's okay, I can just give it to someone else, or in case I need to AoE somewhere. And it should be noted that earlier when I also put this on the AoE increase on Leon earlier, because the AoE span increase on that ability actually does affect support spells and healing spells, so you can increase the span of your heals and your support spells with that as well. So here we go, the boss fight for this stage, and I gotta say, I believe all the boss fights are preset, so whoever designed this boss fight is an asshole, because because those guys in the top, Varna over there in the top corner cannot be avoided, pretty much, and combined with the time wall, that just makes this even worse, because the time wall, obviously is a lot like the time walls at the beginning, which is reduce your damage or like debuff your team or something. So thankfully the black hole doesn't give me too many bad debuffs here. Here you see Trump card activating. So the ability I bought before coming here, called Trump Card, it's actually very, very powerful. It says anytime I defeat an enemy, all my stats, or rather attack, intelligence, defense, and magic defense, all are increased by 30% for one turn, and there's a 50% chance that I'll be able to act again. So it's definitely one of these skills, or rather abilities, that you should be looking out for when you play this mode. Kind of an annoying stage, but still beat it. So right here I have what I believe is Omega's talent and Juggler's talent, but neither one of those should matter because Elwyn's talent is here, and I am definitely taking Elwyn's talent because it fixes so many problems with Brenda. And of course, Elwyn's talent also offers damage dealt increase, which is exactly what you want anyway. So Elwyn's talent is very OP here. If you can get... it'd be nice if I could have gotten multiples of Elwyn's talent, just give it to everybody. I should also note that because Elwyn's talent does not specify physical damage or anything like that, that means you could actually stick Elwyn's talent on a mage as well, and it will be just as effective. It just says, Elwyn's talent just says, you need to be the one attacking, and you'll deal extra damage. It does not say physical damage; it just says damage, and it also restores your life. And it doesn't have to be melee. It doesn't have to be ranged or anything like that. It just says after battle, you'll restore damage equal to whatever percent of damage you dealt. So L1's talent can actually be stuck on pretty much anybody except the tank. Even for the tank, it might be useful if you have a offensive tank like Marius or something. So I get here. Alright, Estelle again. I don't need Estelle. Angelina, Mystery Knight. I think Mystery Knight. Yeah, I feel like at this point, my team is pretty locked in. But a melee magic damage dealer is probably something I was missing in case I really need it. So this time law, this is the one that says anytime they end their turn, they will get 8% extra stats. And before they attack, they will also deal fixed damage to me. So I screwed up there. Just gonna start the stage over. I guess that kind of goes against the spirit of this most. I probably shouldn't have done that. I do wonder if they're gonna patch that at some point, because that's it's very odd that is a choice you have to just leave the map if you feel like you're not doing so well, because that kind of is against how roguelikes are played, which is, when you make a mistake, you should have to live with it. Right, the Ageless Battle Armor. I mean, that's the one I'm going to take because the other two are really bad. And, and Brenda had no armor on, so that's just another reason to take it. Okay, let's look at the time law here. So all the enemy stats are increased and they take extra fixed damage. And they also have a chance to disable my passive, so this stage isn't so bad. Victory! Alright. Pale Staff again. Why? I don't know why this... An Extreme Magic Bow again. I don't know why this mode really loves giving me those two items so much. I mean, Extreme Magic Bow is so bad if I had more people to equip it, but Pale Staff can just go die. I took the Divine Boots because, you know, might as well. That's the only thing I could have taken, and you know, it might come in handy at some point. Alright, this time law right here. Magic damage is reduced by 50%, and then it says it has, every time I hit something, it will create an aura that reduces damage by 10%, increases damage dealt by 10%, so just lots of damage reduction again. Okay. Alright, it's that stupid range staff again. Guy armor, blade melody. Yeah. Obviously, I don't need the staff for the bow, so I'll take the guy armor. It's nice that the guy. It is an upgrade, I suppose. Alright, this time law is. It's a magic damage reduction again, but it also says that before attacking, for every block they move, physical damage dealt plus 10%. So this is, for once, this is a more offensive time law from the enemy. Another Fury tier, which of course I will want. Alright, so this is the stage 19 boss, which I gotta say, again, whoever decided to split my team like this is a huge asshole. They also have the stun time law here, where every single attack from the enemy will stun me and cannot be dispelled, so yeah, that's pretty awful. Yeah, I mean, at this point, the enemies will definitely one-shot my DPS, or they'll either one-shot them or just get them very, very low life. So there's really no way for me to approach them from the left side. I just have to be careful here. So I was holding on to Lamford's Enduring Hope buff here, hoping that the guys on the left side could get closer before I casted it. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have just like used it early on, so that Freya and Lamford have an easier time doing their jobs. Alright, that was a very annoying fight, but we got through it. Star up item. And, yeah, Odin's Battle Helm, Slayer's Emblem. And Dimension Duel. So I'll take the Slayer's Emblem. Alright, and this is the next one is the 20th Voyage, which is the last one. Let's take one last break here. And we'll finish this up next time.